Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Alternative Exit, live from the Employee Ownership Conference in Telford in the UK. And this has been brought to you by EOT Expert by Christian Wilson. So just imagine you've sold your business to an EOT and are now happily retired, spending your tax incentivised money when HMRC or the taxman knocks on your door to ask for the full repayment of your capital gains tax due on the sale. A trust, which is a huge pain. I mean, a trustee at your old company has just resigned and the team innocently but improperly accepted the resignation, inadvertently triggered a disqualifying event. This is a nightmare scenario. The truth is, running an EOT is not simple. From appointing trustees to managing the trust registers to keeping on top of all the annual one-off filings. One small mistake can be painfully expensive. This is where EOT Expert by Christian Wilson step in. His EOT Assured service keeps you compliant and confident with clear guidelines, templates and tailored support, whether you need a one-off transaction, support or ongoing retainer. Christian can even help you set up compliant bonus structures to ensure that your staff are getting the rewards that they deserve. So if you're looking to make a transition to an EOT or already established an employee ownership trust that wants peace of mind and proper governance, reach out to Christian at eotexpert.co.uk for technical expertise that's reassuringly human. But hello everyone and welcome again to this special series of the Alternative Exit, live from the second day of the Employee Ownership Association's conference here in Telford. So today we have, starting with Catherine Cameron from Agulhas. If I pronounce that correctly?
No one can spell it, no one can say it. That's a terrible name for a company.
Yeah, so why did you choose it?
Because we didn't want a three-letter acronym and we didn't want either of the founders' names.
Yep.
And we wanted something that was meaningful to us. So it's actually named for Cape Agulhas, which is the southernmost tip of Africa, where the two ocean currents meet. So
Okay.
prior to man-made climate change, that was what helped to regulate the surface of the Earth's temperature. So it's Cape Agulhas, in Portuguese, Agulhas.
Okay, Cape Agulhas. And why is that so pertinent to what your company does?
It's not pertinent to what it does, but it's better than a three-letter acronym or a founder's name. And actually, we work internationally. Our company is based in London in a small headquarters by the canal down near Angel and Old Street.
Yeah.
But we work all over the world. And two of the original three founders both started their careers in Southern Africa. So it kind of meant something to us.
Okay.
Also, in the days when things were listed alphabetically, we wanted something that came at the top of the list. So we figured Agulhas was quite a good one.
Good thinking.
We've discovered that there are companies with even better names that still come ahead of the list, but we still make the first page.
Very cool. And what is it that you do?
We do research and consulting in international development. We specialize in kind of two big areas in responding to the impacts of climate change and in dealing with conflict and fragility. And of course, those two areas intersect increasingly in this sort of very volatile, conflict-affected world that we're living in now.
Absolutely.
But we specialize in evaluation. So we work a lot with big multilateral banks like the World Bank or the African Development Bank, or big funds like the Green Climate Fund, or country governments. So we work a lot with the UK government, but also big foundations like the Children's Investment Fund Foundation or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, now just the Gates Foundation. Actually, it's like change of name there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing work. But I think what we are here today to talk about is your transition towards employee ownership, because you, as one of the founders of this company, you did make a decision to transition it towards employee ownership at some stage.
Yes. So we are now 5 years into our journey. So next month, it'll be our 5th anniversary. So we feel sort of like quite mature in our employee journey. It's great to be here at the conference and to be, listening and learning from people who are further ahead than us, but also the sort of newcomers who are still just putting their toe in the water. Yeah. We wanted to do some good succession planning because I'm in my 60s now. The other two founders are in their 50s. And we were looking around thinking, okay, how is this going to work? How are we going to successfully pass this company on so that we leave a legacy and keep the good company going with the values and behaviors that we have been practicing for the last sort of 15 years. I'm sure you know the list now from many other podcasts. One of them includes trade sale. We had a couple of companies sniffing around us. making what seemed like on paper really tempting offers. So we did a bit more research and talked to companies who had done that, who told us that actually the inside story on that is not as glowy as it looks on the outside. That comes with its own challenges.
Yeah.
Very quickly, it can really affect the sort of values and principles by which a company is run, and often it leads to redundancies. And we thought, well, we don't want that for our staff, and we don't want that for our company. We've worked hard to make Agulhas the company it is.
Okay.
And then we carried on doing research, and I wish I could tell you how we found the EOA and the idea of the model. I cannot remember now. But then after that, we did some more research and we talked to some more companies.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, this looks like it might work for us.
All right. So when you're looking at these other options, I mean, you had offers. Like, did you choose? Was this the one with the best financial outcome for you, or was there?
Not at all. I mean, the best financial outcome would have been the trade sale for sure. Absolutely, for us, that would have been the best financial outcome. But it wasn't. Obviously, the whole transition to becoming employee owned is about so much more than that. And this whole everything that the employee owned model is trying to do and successfully doing in this country. It's one of the fastest growing business models in the UK, as I'm sure you know. That really appealed to the values and the principles that we've been operating by since we set it up in 2003 in a tiny little back bedroom with a tiny little desk.
Quite the journey. I love hearing obviously how important legacy and the team were. I mean, you also talked about the journey that you went on to understand about employee ownership. At what stage did you bring the employees on that journey with you?
Yes. So I was talking about that yesterday in the session on announcing the move to EO, sort of how, where, and when.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's loud, but I think we'll steer here. Good timing for a coffee.
And get confident. We have another great dinner ahead.
Yeah.
So the three founders had been talking about it for a long time, sort of 12 to 18 months. We had a leadership team at that stage of 4 people. So then we were very actively talking about it. And we were keeping the staff informed. They knew that there was something going on. But it was very interesting listening to attraction tickets yesterday. The same thing, like strange people coming in and out of the office, lots of meetings going on, what's happening. But what we didn't want to do was scare anybody with the idea that there was going to be some kind of set carpet pulled out from under their feet. So when we actually did a big announcement on the day after we'd done the transaction and talking to the senior staff afterwards, because I did a whole sort of consultation before coming here just to kind of remind myself what happened ready for the sessions. And it's really interesting, the kind of gradation of basically the more senior people were in the company, the more comfortable they were with the way we announced it, how we did it, how well they thought they had been informed. And I think they'd been listening to the sort of announcements that we'd been making in our weekly meetings about what was happening. But I think the less experienced, more junior members of staff, it kind of came as more of a surprise to them. And this is something that I've heard from many companies now, that you can't repeat it often enough. You can't explain it often enough. You have to keep going in that journey. Even once you've done it, you have to keep explaining it. But before you do it, it's good to just keep bringing people in.
Do you also think
we thought we'd done that, but I think in retrospect, I'm sure we could have done more.
Do you think that there's something to do also with, like, I don't know, you talk about sort of difference between junior and more senior, and they've probably got similar access to information. Did they have similar knowledge of business? Like, and the structures, do you think it could have been an education element there, then to be able to understand the difference between a trust and a company? And
yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you're right. It was a lot of terminology. Looking back on it, it was a lot of terminology all in one day.
Well, we talked about your hatred of acronyms earlier.
There were a lot of acronyms. And if that's not something that you're used to thinking about, because you just turn up for work and you love your job and you love what you're doing, but you're not thinking about how does a company run.
So few people do.
It's a bit of a thing all in one go. So then, I mean, our learning from that is, communicate more earlier, keep communicating. I've heard this over and over again yesterday at the conference. So I think that's like a really common learning that hopefully is coming out of the podcast that can help other people thinking about this journey.
Well, communication, we hear a lot that it's key, but the timing, the timing is one that sort of we hear different schools of thought. Like in some places they're saying, hey, look, let's have a strong change management program. I mean, Chris Budd, we had on here from the Eternal Business, talked about, hey, it's sort of 2 years of communication prior to really make it successful. I mean, you guys sort of started a little bit prior and then obviously continued post. I don't think there's no clear consensus as to when's the right time. It's just when starting early and repeating as often is key. But what are some of with communication, obviously that's a key element. What are some of the other changes that you've done in the business to help the employees feel like owners?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question that comes up over and over again, isn't it? And I think everyone's got a slightly different answer, but I do think there are probably some really common themes that come out, because that sort of, how do you make it real? How do you kind of touch and feel this thing? So for us, we did our deal on the 18th of December. So my top tip to everyone is don't ever do it the last Friday before Christmas, because everybody is literally either doing their Christmas shopping or they're in the pub already, or, they're out for a long liquid lunch and they really don't care. And it doesn't matter if they're clients, partners, peers, they really, that is not the day.
They don't care.
But we wanted to get it done before the year end so that we could put that tax-free bonus into the salaries for Christmas as a kind of like announcement. Here's what we've done. And
so straight out of the gate, here's some payout.
Here's the very tangible evidence that this is a real thing that benefits you. The other thing that we did, at that time we were a bit smaller than we are now, and so we used to do a little Christmas present for our staff.
Yeah,
and we actually did like an Agulhas hoodie, and we had Agulhas mugs, but then we had like an extra run of mugs printed with the "I own Agulhas." I'm an employee.
Nice.
It's an employee-owned.
I like that. Yeah.
And when I asked the team before coming here, like, what did you think about how we did it? We got really good feedback that actually that just felt like a real thing. It's a real deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The mug and not just the money. And the other really important reflection was the emphasis that we put on going forwards. There are going to be changes in governance. There's going to be a new trustee board. That's a slight, change in structure. We're going to have an independent trustee come on.
And did you guys have a board structure prior? I mean, like, because you were three founders.
Not formally. Exactly. We had a leadership team, but we didn't have a separate board.
So that's a whole new element.
Changes.
Exactly. And so how did you like as an owner who was typically able to make decisions and drive that? I mean, how different was that for you? Did it feel like a lack of control or a loss of control?
It felt like we were really getting our house in order.
Okay.
It felt like we're a kind of big grown-up company now, like, well, we're 20 years old now. We're doing this really properly. But I think for the staff, the communication about the opportunity, the change in governance, the change in how they wanted to do EO, just kind of finish answering that. And then sort of this kind of like, well, how do we do that? And that's saying, well, actually, that's up to you, right? Because now we're employee owned.
Love it. Yeah.
So you can have a forum or whatever, but actually we're quite a small company. So they decided, we'll all be in the forum. Everybody can be in it.
How many employees were you
at the time? We were, I think, 21, and now we're 31. So if you take out the 4 members of the leadership team from that, that's a manageable size.
Yeah.
So then they decided they wanted to have co-owners forum working groups, and they decided what the working groups would be. And then they came to us. It's like, well, how do we do it? What's the budget? And again, it's like, it's up to you. You can come to us with, budget proposals, but honestly, guys, you really think through, work this out. Then having the employee trustee coming to the trustee meetings. So a lot more transparency, a lot more financial transparency. I think that was really key.
Please make your way to the conference room. We will now be starting a keynote session.
But the feedback that we got from staff in retrospect, because many of them have now been in conversations, 2 of our main partners that we work with a lot, 2 other companies, have since made the move and become employee owned. And 1 member of our supply chain also has. And the people that we're doing, our CEO was leading one of those conversations, but the other conversations were just led with other staff members who just had the agency and the authority to go and talk to those companies about this is what it means. This is how we did it. And then the reflection before I came to the conference yesterday was, really like the fact that Agulhas put that emphasis on opportunity, responsibility, and the changes in the governance, the empowerment, and what we can do with that. Whereas in other companies, the conversation went straight to the money. Yeah. It just went straight to the bonus. And and how soon can we pay down the debt? And when do we get to this so-called financial freedom day? So they really appreciated the fact that the way we talked about that was completely different, that we focused on the opportunity and the changes in the way that we could do things.
I love that, and hearing that focus. Is it on what it's actually going to mean of the day-to-day to people, like when they
Yeah,
come into
exactly.
work, the really important aspect. Did you guys have that in Agulhas prior? Like, was there an element of autonomy, like a higher level of autonomy than what you hear in sort of other organisations?
Yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of being quite a small organization is that you've got quite a high degree then of accountability and
Yeah,
responsibility anyway. We have to do sort of quite high quality, detailed work for quite rigorous clients. So professionally, that's
yeah,
kind of how we behave. You know,
yeah.
when you talk to a sort of, because of course it's completely agnostic about sector, isn't it, EO? And when you talk to engineering companies, like they completely get it. It's like, yeah, bang, bang, bang. This is how we've got to do it.
Yeah,
And our work, it's obviously not engineering, but we do have to have
very
high
detailed.
quality, good
Yeah.
detail, good
Please
quality
make your way
assurance.
to the conference room. We will now be starting the keynote session.
Yeah, high quality attention to detail, good period. The thing has to be ready before it goes.
Yeah.
So that attention to detail, I think, then really pays off in terms of
Okay.
how you translate that into employee ownership.
Yeah. Very cool. And you touched on something a little bit earlier with sort of the governance. Like, hey, these employee groups are able to go and sort of start making their own decisions. How did that translate into opening up the purse strings of the business? Like, what levels of governance were actually sort of broken down in terms of that financial decision making?
Yeah, well, obviously, employee ownership is not about that they're running the company. You still have
Yeah.
managers who have to, so you've still got, and we've put in place a board of directors. So now we're doing that as well as the board of trustees, and we have our leadership team. So actually, for a small company, that's quite a lot of
It
groups.
seems heavy.
And to begin with, there's people wearing different hats, the
Yeah.
same people wearing different hats in those groups. But it's reassuring, coming to these conferences and talking to peers and colleagues. It's like, yes, that's how it works to begin with. That's part of the transition. We're 5 years into our transition now. I'm leaving, I'm no longer going to be a paid employee at the end of this year.
Oh, wow.
And the next person is going down. Two of us went down from 4 days. Now the next person's going down to 3 days. He's going to leave at the end of the following year. So I think for employees, it's really important. You can see the founders leaving. You can see that opportunity opening up for promotion.
Yeah.
You can see that people are already moving up, being promoted, taking more responsibility. The employee trustee role, I think, was really important. They
Okay.
sit in those meetings and they understand what's going on. And then it's entirely up to them how they report that back to the group, the forum.
Mm-hmm.
Our current employee trustee has instituted this great thing where she does like a quarterly pulse survey, so a completely anonymous survey, and people just check in, and it's her way
Okay.
of finding out how is everyone feeling.
Yeah.
And that then gives her something to be able to reflect back to the trustee board about how everyone is feeling about how things are going.
Yeah.
Because of course we did it December 2020. I don't know if you remember, but we were playing hokey cokey with COVID at the time. We were in lockdown, out of lockdown,
Yeah.
in lockdown, out of lockdown. It was very difficult, especially for new members of the team.
Totally.
How do you learn how to work in a new company when you're locked in your bedroom or at your kitchen table?
Totally isolated.
That
Yeah.
whole thing was so hard.
So hard. What's been the impact on the business?
Of
Since the
COVID
transition?
or
No,
of the
no,
transition?
yeah. But this isn't a COVID podcast.
Yeah. I think we are all the better for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a fan. I really think that it's helped us, I think, as founders and as the other members of the leadership team to be clearer and to improve transparency and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly given the staff, it's empowered them to feel that this is their company and that they can make suggestions and that they can institute change and that they can lead change. And if that's something that they want to do, they just need to put a case for it, and that's
Love
up
it.
to them to
Yeah.
self-organize. So I think in working in quite a fast-paced, can be sometimes quite challenging environment where our work is all about supporting better action on the global goals and living by our principles. So equity, effectiveness, all those things. Then this is really important because we're kind of living those values still.
Yeah.
We're also a certified B Corp, which we achieved in the summer of 23, which really kind of reinforces the whole employee-owned B Corp. Those are like the two central planks of the Agulhas values and the way we do things.
Yeah.
And we're really proud of both of those.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're leaving the company in very good stead with solid foundations.
Yeah,
for
I
the
hope so.
future.
I hope so.
Yeah, very cool. Now, I want to give you time to head up to the keynote, but before we do, I want to ask you 3 quick questions.
Go
Is
for it.
that okay? So, who is the leader that you most admire in employee ownership?
Oh, and Tyler.
That was quick. I love that. Yeah, Anne's amazing.
I met her
Agreed.
yesterday. I'm in awe. I'm so in awe of her achievements and what she's done.
I knew she'd done a lot, but then when I was hearing how much she'd actually done, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
when you read her bio, it's just like, this is a 40-year dedication to achieving
It's
this.
astounding and inspirational. What is your favorite resource on employee ownership?
Oh, I really like the new EO Hub. Yeah, I've been telling all the EO team, I think it's a great development, and obviously it's only as good as its users, but its users are really key, right?
Yeah, I saw that the amount of traffic and activity in there is phenomenal.
Yeah, really good. So that kind of sense of community, really interactively, where people can post questions and just get the advice, it's fantastic.
Okay, awesome. And then the last one is, what would you say to a fellow owner of a business who's on the fence regarding a transition to an EO model?
Keep doing the research, keep asking the questions, and then make your decision.
Very cool. Well, Catherine, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. Where can people go if they want to follow Agulhas, want to follow you?
Yeah, you can find us on agulhas.co.uk. We're on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Catherine Cameron. Really simple.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.